This chapter was fucking amazing. No other words. That's it. Review is over. Shoot. This chapter of One Piece.
Shit right here, nigga. This shit right here, nigga. Right here. This shit, nigga. This shit here, nigga.
This chapter here. This chapter right here was pure gold. Pure gold. Last chapter, some people were saying, oh, this is a good chapter. If you didn't like this chapter, you really missed out on a lot of key parts. And I was like, you know what, I'm really not feeling this chapter. Yeah, those same people are now saying, like, that chapter doesn't even compare to this chapter. This chapter was what I wanted to see after the break. This chapter gave us so many little things already to a big arc, and it just gave it to you so nicely. The pacing was nice. There was action. You know, there was revelation. There was just a whole bunch of stuff in this chapter. I was really counting the pages like, please don't end, please don't end, please don't end. But I was happy at the ending, because at the end, Oda said, well, he wrote little notes say that there's going to be even more surprises for the next chapter, because it's going to be a celebration of the 20th anniversary of One Piece. So, next chapter, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, but this chapter, I know what happened in this chapter, and that shit was banging. So chapter starts off, Caesar and Capone are outside, and everybody else we saw from last chapter is outside, and they're facing off against Big Mom and her army. So the Vinsmoke are fighting off. They're trying to make an escape route for Caesar carrying Capone, and so Caesar can fly off and get the people inside of Capone to safety. So Big Mom's army is just throwing everything at Caesar this chapter. And it first starts off with Sparrow, and he puts up this candy wall, like it's a maze ice wall in Overwatch, which Doomfist came out, so I'm really happy about that. But anyway, so he throws up this wall, but the Vinsmoke children, the guys, they put their powers together and they create this move called Black Bug, which I guess is a mixture of all the colors that they have, but they put up this move, Black Bug, and it destroys the candy wall. And everybody inside Capone's going like, yeah, we're about to make it. And Sparrow, he just puts out this, oh my. Like that guy from Star Trek, the Asian guy from Star Trek. I just imagine his voice being like that.
Oh my.
Oh my. But anyway, so they break down the candy wall, and they keep going. So then from that moment, we cut over to last time when we saw Dufeld, and he's trying to get the Tamate Bako box that has fell over the Whole Cake Tower, and it's on kind of like this ledge. And he's like, I can't get to it. And he's like, should I jump down and get it? And at that moment, Stussy, the woman of, you know, she's the prostitute lady. No, she's not a prostitute, but she's in charge of the pleasure quarter of the world. And she comes and she's like, oh, you've been following me. And as soon Dufel falls over and he's about to open the box, and then Stussy comes and she uses her finger pistol move, which we know is a common trait and move of the world government, CP. And we get to find out that she's actually part of CP0. CP0. Not 1, not 2, not 9, CP0. So I am actually thinking like, okay, I was always wondering like how the Straw Hats from this arc would kind of, you know, how it would kind of twist into going to the Reverie. And I was actually thinking, well, now Stussy, we know that she's part of CP0. What happens if everybody escapes and everything goes down? And after this arc, Stussy goes and reports what happens at the Reverie. I don't know if she's gonna tell the Kings, but maybe she'll tell somebody the higher ups in the Marines or the Gorosei, and she tells them what happened at Whole Cake Island. And I'm thinking maybe that's kind of a segue to get to the Reverie, and kind of leads into that. Because I was thinking like, okay, after this, are we just going to get like a sudden cut and then move on to the Reverie? Or are we going to get... What's the transition here? That's what I want to know. And I think this would be a really good transition. And let me know if that's a good transition. Because if not, let me know what you think. So Stussy already notices that Morgan, the big news Morgan, is hiding behind. She's like, you know, you can come out. She's like, I'll let you live and everything, but you know, you have to report that this was all Dufeld's fault, and you know, just cover up the story for me. And Morgan's like, he knows, he just seen what happened to Dufeld. He's like, I'm not gonna fuck with her. So he's like, yeah, I'll cover up the story, and as long as I get to see what's in the box. And Oda bringing us some real life fake journalism into our manga portion for today. And I was like, man, you bringing up some hot topics of today with, you know, false coverage on news and media publicity. So I'm like, wow, Oda, you're really covering every single aspect of life in your chapters. So as Stussy and Morgan are about to open the box, we then see that the box, Dufeld, I guess with his last will, kind of pushes the box off, or I don't know if this is on purpose or accidentally, but the box falls. And then Morgan and Stussy look like they're shocked. So we cut back to the battlefield, and Big Mom is cutting Luffy's ass. And it's like some hood gangster stuff. Like, she was like, oh, remember when you were on the phone with me, Luffy? Remember how you said you were going to take me down? Remember how you're going to show me who's the boss? Alright, Luffy, what's happening? You running away. Why are you running away? And Sanji's like, come on, bro. He told Luffy, like, come on, bro. Just forget about it. Just forget about it. And Luffy's chilling. And then Big Mom's like, yeah, you're nothing but a spineless person. And Luffy's like, what? Luffy starts snapping out. And he's like, alright, never mind that. I have to at least get one hit on her. And so Luffy's like, you know, that stuff that I was talking about before, how I said I was gonna beat you, he said, I was telling the truth, that's no lies. He says, we're going to escape right here, and then I'm going to face against Kaido, I'm going to beat Kaido, and then I'm coming for you. As Luffy's running to Big Mom, he goes and says, you know, I wasn't lying, I'm gonna beat you up, and I'm going to be the Pirate King. He jumps up, turns into Gear 4th, winds up, gives Big Mom his strongest move, King Kong gun, armament hockey applied, punches. Big Mom looks at him and just smirks. She's smirking. She's like, puts her armament hockey on, punch. That's it. It cuts from there. We don't really see much of the interaction afterwards about what happens, but afterwards we cut and we see Luffy, and he's exhausted. All of his energy is expelled. And I don't know if that's because he's been in Whole Cake Island and just doing a lot of things and he hasn't really had enough time to rest and eat. But I think it has something to do with Big Mom's soul powers. And I think I just have a feeling that she has the power to snatch people's souls while also taking like the fatigue, not fatigue, but you know, their endurance and energy out of the soul, because I feel like the soul is tied to your physical state. So when her taking the souls out of people, she's also able to take, you know, your endurance and making you tired. So we don't know that for sure. I'm just assuming, but that's what it seemed like, because then right after that one punch, we see Luffy's, he's tired and he's done. So Luffy says, like I said before, he says, I'm going to take down Kaido and then I'm going to take down you. And in this part, Big Mom gives us, I think is a pretty, it's not huge, but it's just interesting what she says. She's like, you think you can take down that thing? And I was shocked when I heard this. I was like, thing. It was in bold letters. Thing was highlighted in bold letters. Thing. Not person, not beast, a thing. Like, just like he's not, Big Mom is showing that Kaido isn't like anybody else. He's not a person. He's an entity, and that's why probably he can't die. And if anybody else would have said, "Oh, you're trying to face against Kaido, he's not even human," all right, that would add to Kaido's repertoire. But the fact that a Yonko, Luffy, everybody is out, Big Mama's out of everybody's league, and she gives Kaido this comment of that you think you can face against that thing. That just speaks words of what Kaido is. And I don't know how, even I knew Luffy wasn't going to be able to beat Big Mom this arc. And I'm even worried because I can't see Luffy beating a Yonko next arc either. So I'm trying to figure out what from here to when he faces off against Kaido is Luffy going to have to do to get to that next level to face a Yonko. Because he's definitely not ready. He was struggling against a commander, the lowest tier commander, and I just can't see Luffy. I feel like it makes sense to have another time skip, even though we're probably not. I'm just saying it would make most sense to have another time skip in order for Luffy to get to the level to probably even face a Yonko. Actually, I would like to put the question out there. So I've been reading this chapter. I'm like, they went through a lot. You know, Big Mom has not reached her full potential yet. She hasn't shown everything she can do. And we've seen all the commanders, and we've seen how Big Mom's army is really high skilled, and they have a lot of users that have good devil fruits, and they just have a lot of skilled warriors. And I was thinking, okay, so we've seen basically Whitebeard's armada, and we've seen Big Mom's family and her army. And I was thinking, let's just say we switched the role of Big Mom with Whitebeard, and Whitebeard was the antagonist, and we had to go to Whitebeard's island with Whitebeard's crew. Whitebeard keeps his crew, and we had to go to his island, and we had to face off against Whitebeard in his island. I mean, with his crew. And I was just thinking, like, I just have a feeling like the Straw Hats, if they had everybody that they have now that's aided with them, like the Vinsmokes, the Whitebeard Pirates, and Caesar, I don't think they would have struggled as much as they did with Big Mom's army and Big Mom. Now, I'm not knocking off Whitebeard. I know Whitebeard's one tough motherfucker. But I'm just saying, I just feel like with Whitebeard's pirate crew, I feel like there just wasn't enough intimidating people like there is in Big Mom's army. Like, don't get me wrong, they had Ace, they had Marco, and they had Jozo, and you know, those are the most notable characters. But I'm just saying, like, other than that, there hasn't been many characters that stood out. And maybe that's because Whitebeard kind of came in for like one arc, and that was kind of it. So I was just trying to ask the people, I'm asking you, the viewers, what would you think would happen if the Straw Hats came to Whitebeard's island, if that's just say he was in the position of Big Mom, and the Straw Hats came to Whitebeard's island with everybody that they have now and tried to face up against the Whitebeard Pirates? Do you think they would have an easier or harder time taking Whitebeard down than Big Mom? So after the attack with Big Mom, Luffy's tired. The energy's drained out of him. And then Big Mom starts charging towards Luffy and the others, and she's about to attack. But she's intervened by Judge steps in, and he goes on the spiel about how I trusted you, you betrayed me, I had the dream of conquering the North Blue, it's been a dream of mine, my ancestors, they ruled the North Blue, and I was next to do the same thing, and you took that dream from me. And Big Mom, obviously, we can see that she don't give no fucks about Judge, bites the tip off his sphere. But she bites the tip off his sphere, and listen to this, she grabs Thunder. She grabs Thunder from her armament hockey cloud. Armament hockey cloud. That shit is just cool as fuck. She grabs the Thunder, releases it right onto Judge, and I wouldn't be surprised if Judge is dead, but I think he's still alive, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's dead. And his helmet flies off at this moment. And I'm pretty sure either the next chapter or the chapter afterwards, we will get some revelation about what was the deal. Because obviously Judge was hiding something underneath his mask. I'm pretty sure everybody thought, I'm pretty sure it's the fact that his eyebrows are the same as Sanji's. But I think next chapter, the chapter after that, we're going to get some revelation or some more emotional connection between Sanji and his father. I think Sanji's going to, if Judge is not dead or not, there's going to be something that gives the viewers an emotional connection between Sanji and his blood father. And I think we'll get a little more resolved, because I think what happened in Capone's little castle thing with Sanji and Judge, it was made sense, because Sanji doesn't really fuck with his dad like that. But I think I think most of the viewers want to see a little better conclusion than that with the Vinsmokes. So as Caesar, he sees more openings. You know, people are paying attention to what's happening with Big Mom and what happened to Judge. So the Vinsmokes go to help their father. And then Caesar's like, oh, you left me, you're supposed to help me escape. So Caesar goes, and he's paying attention to the Vinsmokes leaving, and then he bumps, and doesn't realize that he bumps into the main man, Charlotte Katakuri. And Katakuri, just by the look of him, is like, yeah, bro, you're not getting any farther than this. And a little quick side note, Katakuri in this chapter looks humongously Diesel. When he first came into the chapter, I don't know if this is just Oda not being consistent now with the drawings, but when he first came in, he was like more of a slim, figure, but now he just seems that he's been hitting the roids and he looks too jacked. But anyway, I digress and moving on. So just as you think, oh, they're fucked because Katakuri stepped in, Ichiji comes and hits one of his lightning moves, right into Katakuri, but Katakuri morphs part of his body into Mochi. I would think by this time in the series, everybody at a high tier should be using Haki for most of the moves. Like, I don't care what. If you're facing against somebody who has a Devil Fruit, obviously you should use Haki. Even if you're not facing against somebody with a Devil Fruit, use Haki. Like, it doesn't hurt you to use Haki, so I don't know why people at this level haven't used Haki. Maybe Ichiji doesn't have Haki, but by this part of the ball game, most characters should have it. At least Armament Haki. I know Conqueror's Haki's type special, but Observation and Armament Haki, most characters that we get revealed to that are at a higher level should have it. Actually, I would like to take that back, because Haki revolves around the soul, and the Vinsmokes with the 4 children, they don't have souls, so maybe that's the reason why they can't use Haki. So I'll take it back. I can understand maybe why Ichiji can't use Haki and just uses his regular lightning based attacks. So Katakuri is distracted with Ichiji. He's defeated him because Ichiji's no match for Katakuri, a top commander. And we're like, okay, Caesar's going. He's like, oh man, I got past Katakuri. That's pretty much her. And then he bangs right into himself, but the vision of himself is actually Brule using her mirror techniques. And she's like, remember me, Caesar? And I'm like, oh my god, just let them escape. Just let them go. Like, they're gonna eventually go. But I'm just like, come on. Like, they deserve it. They've been through so much shit this arc. Just let them go. And then Brule, and actually Brule would actually be a good fight for Caesar. I think Caesar could actually wipe the floor with Brule easy if he wanted to. Maybe if he wasn't carrying Capone, maybe I think he actually could fight Brule pretty easily. So as Caesar stopped by Brule, Katakuri has finished off Ichiji pretty quickly. The Vinsmokes are down. The Straw Hats are tired. They've been defeated. It's looking really gloom for the Straw Hats. And then at this moment we get this panel of Pedro and Jinbei saying, alright, I think it's time for us. We maybe need to help them. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You two stay right there. Pedro and Jinbei, everybody thinks at least one of you is going to die. Stay right in there. Do not help out. Do not leave. Because that death flag is still flying strong for at least one of you. So just chill out, Jinbei and Pedro. Pedro, okay, maybe Pedro, you can go out there. I really don't care that much about you, Pedro. But Jinbei, stay. I want to see you on the ship. I want to see you on the Thousand Sunnies. So just chill. But anyway, moving on. So Big Mama's about to execute everybody. She has the Vinsmokes, the Straw Hats are defeated. Caesar can't go anywhere. And she's like, it's time for the execution. But at this time, it cuts back to Stussy and Morgan as the Tomato box falls over. And at this moment, we get this gigantic boom. A big explosion. It was like only 4 sticks of dynamite in there, but those 4 sticks managed to blow a hole in the Big Mom's Whole Cake Island castle. So I was like, dang, those dynamite sticks must have been really powerful. Just imagine they had like a whole truck full of those bombs. But anyway, the castle, there's a hole in it, and then it starts to topple over. And Big Mom's like, everybody's confused, like, what's going on? And I think this is the moment where I think we're finally nearing to the end of the arc. And I'm pretty sure that at least we maybe have like 7 more chapters. At most, maybe like, yeah, I'm thinking like 7, 8 more chapters that we have of this. Because I think when this tower falls and there's the commotion, I think that's the time most people are going to escape. I don't know if everybody's going to escape. I'm pretty sure at least one person has to stay behind, or one person will not make it out of Whole Cake Island. Because just like Impel Down, you thought there was no hope for them to escape. There was just trial after trial. And it took that one person to sacrifice himself for all the people to move on. So I think that's what's going to happen in Whole Cake Island too. And I just hope it's not Jinbei. Please, Jinbei, stay with the crew. So yes, that's the chapter. The Whole Cake Island chateau is falling over, and next chapter, Oda says we're gonna get some pretty big surprises as the celebration for the 20th chapter. I mean 20th anniversary. So what to just say about this chapter? It was beautiful. It was greatly paced. So much, not so much, but just enough information to keep you entertained, and so much action and so much commotion and drama to go on and just keep you thrilled. So Oda, Let's put the God Oda up there for a quick second. Let's just appreciate you. Thank you, Oda. Thank you for this chapter. That's all I have to say. Have a nice ass day. Hey guys, did you like the video? Please, if you did so, please hit that like button. If you have any questions you would like to ask, please put them down in the comments section. I'll be willing to answer any question that you have. And if you like what I'm doing with the channel and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified on my future videos. And other than that, all I gotta say is have a nice ass day.